Hello everyone and welcome to a rather unusual site, a video for Meerkat Musings, which I haven't done for a while for various reasons, being back at work full time and focusing more on writing and podcasts has left a bit of a gap in my videos. So apologies, I guess. And here we go again with a rare and hopefully moderately interesting video. And to begin, I'd just like to touch upon something which happened a few weeks ago. The announcement that Star Trek Discovery was receiving a fourth series. That's all been confirmed, it's all official. And that was a wonderful moment because it was a fantastic, I guess, finger, I guess, in the air to all the people that were saying it wasn't going to happen. There were so many people out there, and I could name a few names, but I'm not going to, who were insisting through their various inside sources that Star Trek Discovery was being cancelled after season 3. Mind you, some of these same people insisted Discovery was being cancelled after season 2, and back then were quoting official sources, or inside sources, I should say, as giving them this information. Surprise, surprise, they were wrong then, they're wrong now. I can only reach a conclusion that they are, but one of three things are going on here with the people that talk about Discovery being cancelled and their inside information and that kind of thing. Number one, they are simply lying. Number two, they have inside sources, but those sources themselves are being deceived somehow. Number three, they have got people who claim to be inside sources that are in fact having a great big joke and laugh at their expense. So those are the three options that I can think of to explain why certain people keep continually reporting they have inside information about Discovery being cancelled, this, that and the other, and keep managing to be wrong. They were wrong about season 3, they were wrong about season 4, they've been wrong about Kurtzman being fired. It's quite astonishing how they can keep being wrong and yet keep talking about their sources, their inside sources. I don't get that. Sooner or later, you've got to realise when you're being duped. And if they're not being duped, they're being dishonest. So what do we think about that? Do we give them the benefit of the doubt? Assume they're being deceived over and over again and keep falling for it over and over again? Or do we assume that they're simply liars and fakers and are spouting off a lot of stuff for attention? I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. Beyond that, not a lot has really been happening, I suppose, apart from a fairly substantial effort to rewrite the book that I published, The Awakening. And the reason behind that is based on some advice I've received about showing the story as opposed to telling the story. So kind of spooning it out, I guess, through the actions of the characters rather than using exposition, which makes sense. I do appreciate the advice. It's triggered what will probably end up being quite a substantial rewrite. If you're someone that has actually purchased the first book, The Awakening, or you downloaded it when it was free of charge briefly, or whatever you might have done with that, then I want you to know that the story that began in that book, I know I said it was part 1 of a saga, it's not going to continue in the same vein because book 1 is undergoing a pretty substantial rewrite. A lot of things will remain the same, but a lot of things will change. And that will kind of roll into, I guess, what happens in terms of the sequel. If I simply don't decide to treat this as one big book now. Because that was the other option originally with the Awakening. I hadn't planned for it to be one big story. I hadn't planned to split it apart, and it was kind of at the advice of my brother at the time. Well, he's still my brother. His advice at the time was to split this up because of how it kind of ended. I guess the first third of the book ended. It made sense to split it into separate parts. That may not happen this time. So it may just be that I end up with one big story with a lot of the same characters and settings, a lot of the same ideas, but retooled to tell the story in a different way. That may also lend itself to a few changes to the story. In fact, it will lend itself to a few changes in the story itself. But hopefully, a more entertaining read. I'm quite proud of The Awakening as it is. I know it's not going to win prizes. It's not some glorious, brilliant masterpiece, but it is my work. It has come from me. It's a story I wanted to tell. It's a story told in the way I wanted to tell it, and I'm proud of it. Come what may, in terms of reviews, whatever, I'm proud of it. But the reworked version that I'm working on, I do feel will be stronger. It will be better. It's going to take a bit of time. It's going to steer in some different directions, but ultimately, once it's out there, I'm going to be quite happy with it. I feel I'm going to be quite happy with it. It will be an improvement. The only way to ever go with these things, I think, is to go better, is to improve. It's a learning curve. This whole experience has been a learning curve for me. I've dabbled with writing before. I never reached the point where I've actually published anything before, and now I'm talking to publishers and whatnot, and they're giving advice and feedback that, well, having never published before or tried to publish, I've never been in a position to get that kind of feedback. So it's good to have it. You have to kind of accept sometimes that people will offer criticisms and ideas and things like that, which maybe go against what you feel is right. And the choice is yours, whether you accept those comments or reject them. You know, that's something which was up to me. But ultimately, if you're self-publishing, do what you want. You know, of course you can. If you want to go via a publisher of any level, then you do have to learn, I guess, to take on board their comments, their ideas, how they feel things can be changed and tightened. You can say, you know what, I don't agree, and I'm sure the would-be publisher would say, okay, fair enough, but we're not going to publish it. And then you go elsewhere. Or you can say, okay, you know what, I see the point you're making there. I'm going to make some changes, come back to you when it's ready, and we'll have another conversation. And go from there. And as an author, the choice is yours as to how you decide to play that card, what you decide to do. So that's that. In other news, I do plan to start doing some more, not Mario Maker videos, but I do plan to do some videos based on a new and rather bonkers game called Super Mario 35, which is a game released for the 35th anniversary of the Super Mario Bros. Franchise. And it's also featuring 35 players playing through the original Super Mario Bros. It's like a battle royale thing, so you have your own screen, but when you kill enemies, they get transferred to someone else's screen. Equally, when other people kill enemies, they will end up on your screen. So you can go from a situation where you've got the normal number of expected bad guys, suddenly it multiplies massively, and you can end up with huge numbers of Goombas, Koopas, and God knows what else running around on your screen trying to kill you. And sometimes it's not too bad. When you end up with multiple Lakitus throwing Spinies at you, or multiple Bowsers, or Hammer Brothers, or all three at once, it gets crazy. It gets absolutely crazy. And there is, of course, a time limit with this, and you earn seconds, as it were, by killing enemies, and you also want to collect coins to earn power-ups. It's a mad game. It's absolutely mad. It's brilliant. It's a lot of fun. I'm quite happy I've managed to win a few times. I've had a few disastrous ones a few times as well. But it's bonkers. It's fun. It's insane. It is a brilliant new take on the original Mario. And it goes to show as well the longevity of the original Mario Bros. Game. They're simply using the same game that they made all those years ago to create something new and different and exciting with it. The game itself has great replay value, the original game, and so does this. So does this battle royale thing they've got going on. It's glorious, is all I can really say with that. What else? What else is new? I'm back at work, as I say, full time. I may have mentioned that in a previous video. I'm still back at work full time, so nothing's changed there. It's been surprisingly busy, and as a store, we're actually doing quite well in a lot of respects. So I'm very pleased with how everything's gone there. Naturally, I'd like a few more orders on the books. We all would. We'd all like more orders. It means more money, both on a personal level and for the store. That depends, of course, on who comes through the door, what we're talk and chat about another lockdown or this tier system we have in this country and God knows what else. I have no idea what's going to happen there. Will it get busier? Is it going to quiet down? We're not too far away now from the period where it gets quiet, which is December. And then, of course, we enter into the January sales, which traditionally, for most retailers, including my type of retail, are very, very busy. But we're still going to have COVID-19 in January and probably stretching on for who knows how long into next year. So is that going to affect how busy it is? Will it affect how people spend money? It's, in a way, it's affected us for the better because people who were going to spend money on holidays have spent it in our shop. But people are going to probably change habits next year, or as soon as they find a vaccine for this, people are going to start doing holidays and things rather than spending money on bathrooms. And I don't blame them for that. So who knows? I mean, it's going to fluctuate. Lots of things are going to fluctuate for the foreseeable future. Like I say, we're still going to have this virus with us next year. To what extent, I don't know. It could be that it's with us until the middle of next year. It could be for the entirety of 2021. Who knows? Who knows with that? I know lots of work is going on to find a vaccine all around the world, and I wish everyone working on that vaccine the very best of luck. I hope they can get it done quickly, safely, of course, and safely for their benefit as well as everyone else's. So good luck to everyone involved in that. Aside from that, what I want to do in the future is maybe do a few more book promotions through Meerkat Musings. So if you are someone that, like me, has done some independent publishing and you know others who've done some independent publishing, the idea with this post is to do some promo stuff, and it's a little bit of a back scratching arrangement. So if I bring up your book or books on my website, I'd appreciate that you return the gesture, naturally, of course. I'm not going to depublish The Awakening. As a matter of fact, in November, when my tenure with the Kindle Select program finishes, it's actually going to be published across wider formats. I might as well keep it out there for as long as possible until the rewrite's done and go from there. It's in my interests to raise awareness of the brand, if you like. So that's what I'm going to do. So in the middle of November, I think it is, my book will become available through other e-publishers, not just through Amazon Kindle. And it will hopefully get a little bit of a burst of attention there. And overall then, that might lead to attention for the rewrite that's coming and for any would-be sequels, if I decide, of course, to split this thing into multiple parts again. We'll see how it goes. In the meantime, I'm going to sign off now by saying I hope everyone stays well. I hope everyone looks after each other. In these trying times, we have to talk to each other. We have to support each other. So stay in touch with your mates, with your family, and look after yourselves. And please, everyone, please, to stay safe.